Well, welcome to the channel. As you probably clicked on, you know that we're going to be comparing SRC's ToughCast 75D with Smooth-On's Task 9. And I just wanted to be clear about some things before we actually get into the review. I am an affiliate of SRC, and I actually received this ToughCast 75D for the purposes of testing it and giving my honest review and comparing it to Task 9. So with that said, I just wanted to make sure that you see the product here. This is Task 9, and I have this little tiny one right here from a prior purchase, and this is my go. This has been my go-to. You'll hear that at the end of the video later on. And of course, on SRC side, you have this ToughCast 75. That's what it looks like in that form. I think there's a couple of sizes there. You can get it in gallon size. And anyway, you want to definitely explore their website, see their details and what they have available on both ends. Here you have SRC. They have a setup where you just get the description, specification, downloads, and on Task Smooth-On's page, they just got a ton of information that's very helpful. A couple videos. I think there's a video on this one as well. Maybe not. Hold on a sec. I don't know. There's not a video on this one, but Smooth-On definitely has a video, has a lot of not interesting stuff, but very useful and informative stuff on their products, including a downloadable, where is this? There we go, bulletin. Okay, if you click on the bulletin, this will give you all the details you'd ever want on, according to what what the Task 9 is about and each of their products. I'm gonna try blurring that out, but each of their products has this bulletin, if you will, of what their specifications are, and that's very useful for some people. And so I definitely want to keep an eye on that. Check out both their websites. Enjoy the video if you can. If you would, please go ahead and like, subscribe, and drop a comment. Tell me what you guys think. I also want to give you a heads up. I had to fast forward my voice because and this video was taking a long time. Use the markers below in this video to navigate to specific areas you might want to look at if you want to. If you want to listen to the whole thing, watch the whole thing, that's cool. I sped it up a little bit so that way it wouldn't be so long. I know it just took a long time to actually get it all together and put it together. I just didn't want to drop any of the stuff that I was talking about. So I hope you guys don't mind. If you are going to watch this, I hope you enjoy it. There's a little bit of humor in there, but pretty much, straightforward. Hey, this is what it is, what I'm doing, and this is the product. This is what happened. This is what happened. This is what happened. This is a test. This is a test. You know what I mean? And so I'll have some chapter links in the description or somewhere below. Utilize those as you explore this with me. And yeah, enjoy the video. Hope you like, subscribe, and leave a comment. All right, catch you there.
Hello, coming back here to give a test on a couple products here for some resin to create some more customs. I do customs and I use tiny pieces like this. This is like a miniature ball joint. This will go into an ankle or a wrist, and the handle will go here. This will be the arm. It'll swivel and it'll go back and forth. This is from Task 9, and Task 9 is the only resin that I've been able to find Task 9 and Task 4 from Smooth-On that have been able to withstand the type of pressure for such a small miniature piece. I mean, look at the diameter of this piece right here. This is a almost 0.2 millimeter shaft here. And that's the diameter of the shaft right here that fits inside. So when it goes inside the arm or the foot, if I've used other resins, these pieces, when you're twisting like this, in the foot or in the hand, they just snap off. Task 9 and Task 4 are the only ones that have been resilient enough to act almost like ABS material. I mean, this is almost the same width diameter here on this ball joint. And Task 4, Task 9, they're the only ones I really can trust, or have been able to not only trust, but have been able to withstand the type of testing and prove themselves in this for these pieces. And another piece would be this little piece right here. Okay. See this would be a piece for the wrist if I want to articulate a wrist and make it swivel. These little pieces is probably 1 millimeter diameter right here. Okay, let's use that's hair or that's just super glue. That's super glue, hot glue. I use hot glue when I do like molds. No, it's not the best, but that's what I got. Anyhow, this is like maybe 1.5 millimeter diameter shaft, and this right here, I mean, look how thin that is. That's probably about the same. It is the same. And Task 9, Task 4 are the only ones that have been able to uphold or stand the test of time in figures, and almost immediately if I use any other resins, and I've used the Model Pro from SRC. I've used the not Task. I've used the Fabric Task 50. I've used the Model Pro. I said I've used the Color Pro. I've tried the I've also tried the ToughCast. I've tried Flex It, like 90, and all these are really good resins for particular instances. However, they have not matched the Task 9 or the Task 4. However, when I got an email from Specialty Resins, they said that their ToughCast 75 is comparable to the Task 9. And Task 9 is my favorite smooth-on product to go to for these small pieces. It has the best modulus ratings, the best tensile strength ratings, the best flexural strength and modulus ratings. I mean, it's phenomenal. And so what I want to do today in this video is compare Task 9 with ToughCast ToughCast 75 from Specialty Resin. And I'm going to go through pros and cons of both, and then I'm going to show you real quick what we're going to actually cast in. This right here is a camera piece for like a setup. You know, here's your ball, here's your ring, and this is actually Model Pro, and it'll do the job for what it is right now. But I want to test the ToughCast 75 in these molds, which are these right here. I also want to test ToughCast 75 in the molds that create these little pieces. So I have those molds ready to go, and I calculated. I'm also going to keep on creating these little pegs. These pegs can be used for adding onto waist, or should I say thighs of these little figures I'm working on. So that way they add some additional rotation in the thighs. But anyway, those are going to be the test. I'm going to try creating more of these, try creating some of these, and we're going to compare them. And I'll go through the pros and cons of both again, and then we'll go from there. So without further ado, what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to go ahead and start mixing the resin, and we'll start casting. Okay, the good thing with these is I know how much I need. I need about 24 total grams. So I'm going to go for 12 and 12. There we go. All right, 12.47 grams in the pot right now. I'm actually really excited about using 12.43. Looks like 12.43. I'm gonna go ahead and add some coloring and then go from there. All right, I just finished the coloring. I put the in already. Let's go with side A. 12.39. Close enough. I found it's very forgiving with SRC. So I'm gonna stir it up and I'm gonna start pouring. One thing I'm noticing right off the bat is the color. The color on this is a lot different than other amber colors I've had from SRC. But it's not gonna stop me from pouring. It's just gonna make me question the how the colors can actually translate when all is said and done. So there's okay. Okay. When I'm making messes there, I have to make a mess here. This one's small pieces, and it's kind of a mix of a different type of mold. It's kind of a mix of a swish mold and pour mold because of how tiny these pieces are. And what I'm also excited about this ToughCast 70 is the 1 hour, 1 hour set time, man. That's going to be phenomenal. Right now, I'm clocking Task 9 at about 12 hours. It's 12 to 16 hours per cast. Now, I know on the box, it says that it will take 1 hour to demold. I have not found that to be reality with Task 9. And so hopefully, I'm hoping that this ToughCast will replace Task 9 for me. That's really my goal. And we'll see. I'm gonna go to the pressure pot here in a second. Get this in the pressure pot, and away we'll go. And yeah, I'll let y'all know how it turns out. I have a 6-minute alarm on Alexa here. So you guys see everybody right there. So you can get it out. And this one, man, that was just a mess. I needed to hold this one up to do it right. See if I can get. You're not supposed to do this, but hey, when you need to get something done, you use what you got. I have some stuff in there. I usually try to use gloves and stuff, and I should have worn gloves, but I thought I had this a little bit more under control. But here's what it is. You know, just gonna wash my hands really good after this. Get some I don't know if it's gonna maybe might get might take it. We'll see. I'll push pause and put it in the pot and go. So I figure while we wait, I'll wait for the 1 hour to kind of show exactly what these pieces can. And we'll do this right here. So one of those ball joints, so twists like so, pivots, and then the ankle at the bottom also twists. So that's two. That's a point here, and it swivels like so. And that's how this works. It's like an actual ankle now. The thigh. This is actually a peg, like I showed earlier. It's not quite this type of peg, it's big, but it is still a peg. It's one of the thinner pegs. There was another container, but so there's a thigh swivel right there now. Okay, and then another example, the wrist. There's one of the little tiny wrist joints. It's right here. I don't know if you can see it. It's right there, and this can actually cock, moves up and down a little bit, and then also rotates. So those are just examples of what those joints do, what these joints are intended to do. This is for a 4-inch figure, a little less than 4 inch. So that's what they're going to be for. I also figured I'm going to go ahead and cast these. This is all barbells, ball joints, and there's a couple other like pegs in here, and then some more. So I'm going to cast those as well, and we'll go from there. All right, so it's been more than 24 hours. I started the pour around 4:30 on Friday, and I was hoping that it'd be done at 5:30. I'm about 5:30. I usually, especially resin, when it says an hour cure time or a cure time, usually their stuff is pretty spot on, if not earlier. So for example, I have this Flexit, and the cure time says 2 hours. I can usually get it out of the mold, within an hour or so. Same thing with Flexit 40, like it says 5 hour cure time, and I can usually get that out within a couple, maybe 2 to 3 hours. Their minute stuff, like the Fabricast, it takes 10 to 15 minutes to cure. That's usually spot on. That's spot on too. Their Color Pro, it says 15 to 20 minutes. That's usually spot on. Their Model Pro, the slow, it usually takes it says 3 to 4 hours. I've gotten it out in less than probably 2. And so I've dealt with their other ToughCast 65, Flexit 90. All these I've been able to get out of the molds before the stated cure time. This ToughCast 75 took significantly longer. So after that hour, I checked the cups; they're still sticky, and so I waited another hour, still sticky. I didn't want to open up the pressure pot before the resin set, and then so that would introduce bubbles possibly. So I decided I'll keep it overnight until if it was 4:30 when I cast, or put the resin in the molds. I said, okay, well, I'll go in the morning. Woke up at 7 the next morning. Well, I didn't wake up at 7, but got up and went to the cup, and both cups I used to cast the molds were still kind of they were soft to touch. And so I said, okay, well, I'm gonna go and wait some more. And so I waited another 12 hours. I waited till the evening, till around 7 o'clock yesterday, and it was finally starting to feel good. I was able to demold this, and it was very flexible when I demolded. And so this one was really, I was able to squish it quite a bit, and it was, it demolded, but it demolded, pretty well as far as like keeping the shape, but it was still, malleable. And so I said, okay, well, I'm going to put it on the hot pad, put them on the hot pad for another couple hours, and I just waited almost another 12 hours, and now it's Sunday, 10 o'clock in the morning, and here we are. So that's almost 36 hours. That's 24 hours from Friday would be 4 o'clock Saturday, and then today, so I mean, pretty much 36 hours plus, and we have our cast. And this is a lid or a cap to a piece that it's going to hold a ball. And I came out. This was probably the most questionable mold I made for this set, and it's always the toughest one too because I accidentally didn't overthought how to cast it when I put it in the silicone, and I did it the opposite way than I should have. Anyway, this came out. I mean, it's pretty tough. It feels good. Man, for the last first 18 hours of waiting for this to set, I was very skeptical because it was like super soft and malleable. Even now, it feels a little soft, kind of almost soft. It's interesting. It's definitely hard, but you can definitely feel the play. So that might make it durable. Just depends on whether it's going to break, or warp. And that's to be tested. That'll be tested through these, through the pressure there on the. Oh man, I'm blanking right now. But the threading there on the threads for both this piece and another piece, and how it holds the ball. That'll be another test, and then I'll put it all together and make a final assessment on this product and the comparison. But it's very solid, it feels sturdy, feels very sturdy right now, sturdy to touch. I definitely need to cut off the extra sheeting here, but other than that, it's good. What's interesting is this is the same mold that I was putting remember at the end of the casting process, I was kind of shoving stuff in like that with my fingers. This one came out. It came out pretty good. I mean, for being that type of scramble mode to get resin in the actual cast, the actual mold, it's not bad. And I don't know if this is a blemish in the mold itself or a blemish in the original part. Let me see. Let's see here. Here's the original part. Yeah, that's just a blemish from the original part. So that's the original part, and that's where that is right there exactly. Okay, there it is. Okay, I just want to make sure something was going on there. So anyway, so let's go and demold these other pieces real quick, and we'll go from there. Like I said, each piece feels pretty solid. This is one of the receivers of this, the male part of to that. Okay, there's that. The threading is a little bit different, but it will thread. It will work. I have done it. I might have to do another lid to match the exact rating of this, but this is the one that's actually the pairing for that cap there. So let's get that open. But that one felt pretty sturdy. This one is definitely staying in a little bit better, and yeah, they're both sturdy in there. And this is part of the mold, that little sheathing there. That's actually part of the original. So this will go on like this. Yep, good. And this is nice and hard. So what I do is this will be screwed or nailed or whatever. This will be on, or this and the ball will go in, and then you can rotate. And I'll show you in a second. Here's the ball. One thing I will say is the sheathing on this stuff is very dynamic. I mean, usually sheathing with harder uh, harder resins, the D cast or D D-shore resins. It just flakes off. This stuff kind of, like you see on this other little stuff. This stuff is not quite that, and that's a weird. I don't know if you see that. That's a weird dent there. I don't think that happened with my one. Anyway, this will go here, in here. Okay. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna attach something in there that's gonna be bendable, malleable, bendable, and sturdy, and this can go on so that it can stay in place. You guys have seen this is for like camera or your wire things, and so this holds that, or even your phones, the phone thing you have in your car. I'm just kind of repurposing it right now. I'm trying to make something. I have an idea, a couple ideas. Okay, so that's that piece right there. So these things go together, and then this piece. This is another piece um, where I'm hoping to be able to use that in a receiver and screw it in, and it'll also have a flexible piece. So those actually came out really good, and they are hard. I'm pushing pretty rough, pushing pretty hard, and it's not, and for like I said, for 18 hours, I was like, testing the cup, and it felt like they're going to be like the ToughCast 65, which is a great silicone. But let me see if I have a piece here. But it's there we go. There's a piece. But it is, it's flexible. It's more flexible than not, And I didn't want that. I like ToughCast 65, but I need this to be a short 75, short 80D, And that's exactly what uh, that's what it says it is on the box and on the website. And if you're going to compare it to Task 9, it's got to be, Task 9, Task 4. It's got to be higher short, 75, 80D. And it actually feels pretty good right now. So let's go to these small parts. Now these small parts are always a trick. So when I called Smooth On, I was having an issue with their 1 hour cure time, and so they had advised to warm the silicone before pouring. And because of the size of these pieces, they also said it's probably going to take longer, and it does usually take 16 hours, 12 to 16 hours for these pieces to actually finish setting without actually setting. And so surprisingly and sadly, this is the same case for ToughCast 75, and it took over 24 hours for these pieces to finish. I hope it didn't. Yeah, look good. Let's see this. These came out good. Make sure that no air bubbles in there. Good. All right, cool. And it took over 24 hours for this to settle. And see how that flashing? This is the flashing that we're talking about, the sheeting, if you will. It on short D, most short Ds, even with special resin, and the short D, if I do this, it'll just flake off. All this stuff, man, it is tough. You have to go with an X-Acto and cut that off, or but that's kind of a trick here for this resin. The sheeting or the flashing here, it is tough. So that looks good. This one looks good. And I just take this one for example. Okay, and this is one of the smallest pieces, and this might actually show. See that bend? I'm hoping that out of the mold, this will dry up some more, and I'm gonna give it another day to dry outside of the mold um, before I give a final evaluation. But that flex right there is, just imagine this being in a a um, a hole, you know what I mean? And it's meant to go in, and then it's gonna have torque. Like there's gonna be torque on that part, And if it gets stuck, or there's a lot more resistance, or the hole's not quite as big as it should be, I just wanna make sure this thing does not pop in there, crack in there, and then you have to do surgery to get that out. It's never fun. Anyway, but so far, let's just see here. Let's see if this one's. This is one of the thicker pieces. Let's see if there's any flex in that. Okay. Okay. This is actually, there's no flex in this, not much. Not too much yet. No. Okay. Yep. Actually feels really good. Like I said, I think I'm gonna give it another 24 hours for it to dry out, or to actually finish doing what it's doing. Like I said, it's been on a hot pad for the last 12 hours or so, 12 plus hours, I say. And we'll see what happens. And this last piece, man. These are the miniature, the smaller of the ball joints, or not the smaller ones, I think. But these pieces, as you can see, this actually right here feels steady still. Like it's tacky right now, and so that's telling me either one, yeah, that needs to be dry some more. But just feeling this is, it's hard. It feels good. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna go ahead and leave these out to dry, let all this stuff dry. I'm gonna go ahead and start to cast these again in. I'm not gonna cast these in with the Task 9 because I don't need them in Task 9. I just want to test them with this stuff. But I do use these little pieces. I use Task 9. That's what I use for these little pieces because Task 9 is the most durable that I've had and I've experienced. Hopefully, maybe when these dry out, they'll have some competition with special resin, and we'll go from there. So yeah, that's special resin. Drawback right now for me, just initial reaction, man, it took much longer than I was anticipating, much longer than I usually have to wait for special resin. But it just seems like this type of hardness, or this type of durability that you need takes longer, especially with these small pieces. And unfortunately, that's just kind of the nature of these molds, it seems like. And with that said, then what I'm going to do is, I'm going to call it equal, even though I think ToughCast is taking much longer than the Task 9 or the Task 4. I'm going to call it wash because anything over 12 hours for me, or 16 hours, is kind of 12 to 16. I mean, that's a long process, And I get it, but I just wish it wasn't so. But that's just the way these pieces are going to have to be. And so, the ultimate test between the two, then if this would have gotten done in an hour, like it advertised, and just like Task 9 says, if we got done now, man, hands down, I'd have gone with these. Unless they completely failed at the test, that might get put on. But as of right now, they're on my standard, they're on the same par because it's taking forever. It's taking about a day to actually finish. So I've casted them at night, open them in the morning, or later the next day. And but as it is, that's how it has to be for both of them. And this one obviously took a little longer because for whatever reason, and either still a lot longer than I would like, but because anything over that 1 hour, to me that's already you're both are in the same boat as far as I'm concerned when it comes to the time. And so, and then the real question will be whether or not these will withstand the durabilities, and that will be tested through inserting into some figures, and then playing with the durability of these pieces, and then we'll go from there. And, hope this is helpful so far, and we will be back with the casting of these molds into or with task 9. All right, so here it is. I definitely given another day to dry. I've also been testing on another strip that I cast, and so far, at least the results are hit or miss. What I found is the thinner the piece, the more pliable it is, meaning the more bends and more flexes, and then also the more apt it is to actually break. And so there's two pieces that are small. I actually threw away most of the little pieces that did break already, but there's all the big ball joints that are break. But so far, if you were to look at all these, actually here, there's two. There's a really small one. This one definitely broke in some of the other batches, other strands. And this one actually, notice it's flexing. So it flexes. And it might just be because of the type of joint it is. That thin disc there, converting from that thin or kind of even thicker shaft or peg. This may not be a good combination of what happens. And so I've kind of been relegated to the fact, to just accept the fact that with these small ones, especially with this resin, I'm just not going to get the result I want. There's a bend. A bend. Okay. And if I twist, this one's actually this one's stronger. There it goes. Okay, never mind. But these ones right here, these ones are good. They feel good. They don't bend as much, if at all. You see that there's that one. This one's kind of bendy. So that could be indicative of a air bubble. Let's see, here we go. But I put it in the pressure pot, so the air bubble should be taken out. Let's see if I twist. Yeah, it's still kind of strong. Even this one here, that size. When you get to this thickness, you're in good water, I think, when it comes to these. So I'm going to just test out a couple more. There's another thin one. It's definitely pliable. There's another one. It's actually thick. That's thick. So these three thicknesses, and even this one maybe, should be good. All these should be good. And the other part. See how these work? Is one half of a ball joint goes into another half, and they're going to make me become a liar. Let's see. So here's the female half, if you will, of the ball joint. Here's the male half, and it pops together. And there you go. Now you have a pivot ball joint, two peg ball joint, which will be probably put onto. See the flashing like I was saying earlier. That flashing is super difficult to scrape off. So you gotta use X-Acto, which is good and bad. It shows the toughness, if you will, of the resin, right? That thin of a piece, if you will withstand some amount of tension. But when it comes to getting the flashing off of a piece, it's kind of a drag to have to use your knife. All right, so that's good. I'm going to be testing. I tightened this up as good as I could, and it's been phenomenal. The only weird thing that happened with this ball, and so I tightened this up. It's good. The only weird thing that happened with this ball is this, and I don't know. It was because when I pulled it out, it was still so pliable or malleable, and I just put it down like this to I don't know, but look at that weird warp right there, and there's another warp right there. I don't know how that happened, or when that happened. I would say it's the mold, but when I did that earlier with the different resin, I didn't get any of that. So this is Model Pro Slow. This one right here, and it works. So maybe that's going to be another test as well, to see how well it works. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that. I did find the female part of this. There we go. There we go. Of that piece right here. Here it is. So this is the original right here. Should go on like so, and it'll work. I think it'll keep a ball pretty secure in there. I will probably end up casting that to match this. Since I already committed to making this part, I have to make this part as well. And see, I like this one because it feels like it holds pretty good, and you can tell it still has some threading right there. That's nice. Plus you have the extra. And this original was thicker. The piece that I pulled for that other was actually connected to another actual phone holder with the ball here, and so I can get deep. I can get into like this. So I was hoping that would work with the current threading. It didn't really look, but it will. But I don't want to mess up that thread. So all I'll do is quick cast this one. Anyway, so far so good. This is gonna hit it, gonna get it. Now, which one is the original? It's definitely this one. So yeah, I'm gonna test these joints in a figure, and then I'll go from there. All right. So what I'm doing is putting a ball joint in custom bacon, and I put some Oimaru stuff in there. This is really hard, kind of like a casting substance, and so far so good. It actually broke these. I put some in here, and it broke both the pegs and these. And so the fact that I'm able to rotate these with that same Oimaru stuff in there is talks to the durability here. So I'm impressed so far. We'll be back when I get the feedback on it. All right, so here we go. Bulbs right on Dakin's or Dakin's feet. Okay, and I can have the dynamic pose. There you go. But there's a ball joint, rotates back and forth, up and down, and it incorporates a little bit of anchor rocker. And it's working pretty well on that side. This side actually gave me some trouble. This part was bending there. Was maybe getting too warm when I was warming up the foot here to put the peg in the hole. It was starting to bend. Anyway, so I'm gonna actually change up this whole ankle piece, but it also twists up and down and ankle pivot now. So you can do some of that more dynamic posing if you can get them up there. Yeah. So that's an example so far. So far the thicker pieces are working. As far as the pieces I want to cast with this resin, in comparison to ToughCast or Task 9, I'd probably say it's a little bit behind on the toughness and resiliency. I will say that with the heat deflection, if you will, I don't know what the numbers are for this, but it did pretty well as far as not breaking. I mean, this piece bent in the peg in the hole that I made for the foot, but when I was turning it, it did not break. So that says something. You know, right now after it's been out of the warm, it doesn't bend anymore. I'm still bend. So I think maybe this one's compromised a little bit more than the other one. I'm not sure. But so far so good. And of course, took a biff. And I also wanna. This one is this ankle, this rocker, or this hinge is actually really loose. So anyway, that's that so far. I'll go ahead and do a quick comparison, or actually let's do a quick comparison to ToughCast or to Task 9. All right, here's Task 9's ball. You know, this thing is just rock solid. It's not gonna flex at all. You know, here's one of the pins, same size pin that will that dude does up, stay pretty solid from the ToughCast 75. Again, this is just it's almost ABS material, feels like, you know. Let's make it a thin one. Let's get a super thin one. Let's show you how to go. All right, so look, let me see. Even Task 9, their super thin has the same issue with these. The super small ones. Every once in a while, I'll get a good one. It doesn't break, kind of like we saw earlier. But I just think those ones are just kind of a waste of time right now because they just break. Look how he's going. All right, thin and hard. You got things that can break. There we go. I mean, you gotta really, really try to break these things. So both break, the small ones. It's these ones. These are going to be the wrist articulations, so they withstand so far. So I'm going to cast some Task 9, and I'll just show a quick difference between casting. All right, so we're going to go ahead and start pouring for Task 9. Again, this is my favorite of the Task series and most durable. And I'm going to pour 10. Only thing with Task 9, I think Task 4 too, I can't remember. You have to do a ratio. If you use volume, it's the same 1-to-1 ratio. If you use weight, which I like to use better because it's such small pieces, you have to do a ratio that's 100 to 115, or to put it in smaller terms, it has to be 1 to 1.15. And so if I poured a 10.35 B side, okay, I'd have to multiply that by 1.15 to figure out how much of A I have to do. So here's the instructions for Task 9. It's a mix ratio 1A, 1B by volume, or 115 A to 100B by weight. Again, Polyf says 7 minutes, Demold time says 60 minutes. I have not found it to be true, just like I didn't find it to be true for ToughCast 75. And I'm going to add some coloring. I'm going to add some matte blue here. And so what I do to get the volume, to get the mix ratio is 10.35 grams, right? Times 1.5, and that'll give me my A side. So I'm going to do that now, and then add coloring first, and do that. All right, so we figured 11.9 for the A side. Added the blue, so I had to add 11.9. So 10, 12.0, 12.01. So that's close enough. This is the hardening side. So side A, yeah, this is the part A. All right, I can stir. And then pour. Using time. Also reading. All right. Alexa, 5 minutes, 30 seconds. That seemed like a lot for other reason. Like I said, these parts are so small that it ends up being kind of a mixed type of pour between pour and squish mold. It's kind of a interesting combination of those two types of pour, if that makes any sense. For those of you who know what I'm talking about. But that's what I found. This is the best way to go about it for these pieces. So I just make sure to get enough in there, try to rub it in the small spots, and then make sure it's nice and squish. I didn't want to get this one done with this blue. So I'm gonna miss the T-bar there, but I got the pieces that I want, and that's what matters. So that's task 9. That's exactly how I pour it. And one thing I realized as I was looking and making comparative notes on task 9 and ToughCast 75 was on the ToughCast 75 it says by volume, and I had measured by weight, but I had also read that it's by 1-to-1 ratio by weight or volume. But um, the actual resin just says volume. So what I think I'm going to do is to give some parity, if you will, to ToughCast with their written material. Which I'm going to go and I'm going to do these with just volume measurement, and I'm going to do those here pretty soon. So I can throw this in the pressure pot, and then we go from there. All right, there's my 1-to-1 ratio by volume. I'll just try to show you exactly how I kind of figured that out real quick. I mean, it's simple enough. Volume is space, and so if you look at the cups, the same amount of space in this cup is the same amount as this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this volume of A into this same cup, and make sure we get all we can from it. Alexa, 6 minutes. 6 minutes, starting now. That's going to be way more than enough. I'm going to have to find some more, something. That is I already tell this is too much for these 3 pieces, and I need 100. Alright, so this one we gotta kind of scramble. Mix it, get it ready. Now last time I just pretty much poured it. This time I'm gonna go ahead and do what I would do with the other one, just to see how it feels. And I'm gonna have to use syringe. I used the 2 that I meant to use. Hold on, let's see how this one work. Not available. Alright, wipe that off. Maybe this will work. See? Yeah, maybe. I think smush all the just want to make sure the piece has something. That's enough. And then, in this case, I'm kind of just trying to get every piece that's there, get into the crevices if you can, and give it some juice, I don't like spilling, but I feel like working on time crunch on this one. I forget how much time is needed for ToughCast. And then so I can pour this. I'm gonna squeeze out as much as I can. And then I'm just pouring. I try to make sure that this spreads down. You see? And then go with that. And then I have a well there. And then go with this. And I'm just gonna keep spreading it like that. Again, just trying to get every piece as much. Give it the juice, Make sure that there's gonna be some in the well. So that way if there are bubbles, and I'm sure there are, they will be pushed in and you'll be able to replace with something in the well. That's kinda how I see it or think about it. I'm not sure if that's okay. Let's see what we got. Oh, give me a head. What do I want? I don't know. Let's see. I don't know if that's gonna be enough for him. Don't like resin on my desk area. See if I can pull some more out. Oh my God, look at that. Very nice. Let's see. All right, good. I think I got enough with the wall. Turn some in as well. That's good. See, what I do is I try to wipe this off too. And then I like to kind of pull just a little bit. So, and I'm gonna give him some more. Okay. That means it is time to go to the pressure pot for sure. I've waited almost too long for the Alexa, dismiss for the task, but for this is good. So I'm going to go to the pressure pot now. Just demolding, and just want to show you some similarities so far that I've seen. So ToughCast 75, the 1-to-1 volume ratio, still has the rotary feel right now. Okay, comparison to the same time in the pressure chamber to task 9. There's task 9, and it too has some play. It is also malleable right now. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all the molds. So I pulled these ones out. I'm going to leave the other ones in the molds. Leave these ones out on the hot pad, I say, and probably check back in a couple hours, maybe like 6 hours on the hot pad, and these will probably turn hard, and we'll see how these turn. It's just a quick update. I demolded. It's been about, I want to say 14, 16 hours, almost 9:30. So yeah, definitely at least 16 hours. So out the molds, they're still kind of gooey, but both not gooey, but malleable. Both of them are. It's this period of time where we'll get the ABS material versus whatever comes out of. Okay. All right, so I have waited long enough for both the measured by volume ToughCast 75, which is this red cast right here, and this is one that I pulled out. To set, and so they're equal amounts of time. They give it plenty of time to set. So probably over almost 2 days, so 48 hours. And here I've already started pulling some of them out that I wanted to demold on camera. But some, the task 9, I was able to pull some pretty decent pieces out already, and they're already set much sooner than they're already set about 16 hours, as I mentioned before. But I wanted to give ToughCast some time because I've that prior experience with this cast here, which by the way is still a little pliable on the thin pieces, and not as pliable, and not as actually some pliable there too on some thicker pieces. Depends on the pieces, it seems like, and so yeah, here's one right here too. So it's still pliable, it's still not tough, but I will say for the ankle joint that I installed for this bad boy, it's still holding up pretty well. I've moved around pretty much for a whole day or two. I had my son kind of play with it for a couple hours as well, and it's held up. So these are ToughCast joints right here, and so far so good on the ankle pivots, and yeah. So that's that. So the thicker the thicker the piece. Oh, I just got proven wrong right there. Look. These pieces are really thin. Flexible. I don't know what happened or what's going on. Whether it's moisture in there. I'm in New England. I don't know what's just happened to this piece. Not as much. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with those pieces. Let's see. Yeah, this one's fine. Yeah, even this piece right here is harder. Anyhow, so it's kind of I really got to play with this more before I can give a final assessment. But that's what I have so far. That's what we're doing. We're going to demold the 1-to-1 ratio ToughCast, which I already did on one. And this feels pretty rigid, pretty tough. It is not. These pieces are not as pliable or bendable as we saw on those other thinner pieces. So that's a good sign. Let's take a look at what we have here. Okay, so we're going to demold, and don't want to mess up the mold. I think that's the close end. I like to have one end closed so that I can kind of squirt into as I'm going. So this is going to be the thinner ball sockets or ball joints. And so what I'm doing is just getting one side out freed, and then I'm going to get the other side freed, and then that should be ready to pull out. So there we go. All right, so both sides are loosened, and now I'm going to start pulling them out. Okay, make sure there's no broken pieces there. I think looks good, looks clean. All right, and I like to also write in how much each mold hat is worth in grams. So I think this is 2.4, might be 3.4. Obviously, I like to rewrite it, so I'm gonna make sure I get that right. See the 2.4, 3.4. Let's see here. Let's see. Well, that shows 4.8. So I put 4.8 worth of this in here. But look how much that is right there. So take out I think it's 3.4. So I'm gonna rewrite that so that way I know next time for the next pour 3.4. So 3.4. Okay. I was I can write that a little bit cleaner, maybe right there, or even right there. Now I'm not sure how could the markers for silicone, but that's what I'm using. I can use tape as well, but I'm not going to. All right, so that looks good. It was a good clean demold. Didn't have any issues. Just take a look at these little. Look up how these pieces are. All right, and here's that one. Okay, and like I said before, with these, a lot of time with these harder resins, this flashing, what we call flashing, comes off really, comes off easier. But with this ToughCast stuff, it sticks a little bit. It's kind of stretchy, kind of stretches with the pull. And so I found that it's easier, better to actually use your. I mean, eventually um, you're going to use your Exacto to scrape off this flashing anyway. But to get it off in the first place for this resin, the ToughCast 75, you kind of have to use that at the offset, at the beginning, at the get-go. So that's just my findings so far. And so what do I want to do? I want to pull one of these guys out too. So I'll take this one here and just kind of there we go. I mean, it feels pretty strong, both of them. Um, you know, for the size of a piece it is, it feels great. It's not these this batch has not really given that bendy feel. Outside of that first a couple hours in the pot or outside the pot or even on the heating pad. That's why I kept it on the heating pad and out to dry and to set for so long, just so to give it a real chance to harden up. So there's a small ball joint, and in these small ball joints you have this little cap thing, these little caps, and each one has a little hole. So I'm going to have to Dremel or drill a hole right there. See, right there. So that way it goes in there, and then it'll stick. But it feels good. I just spoke too soon. No, I thought I broke it. I did break it. I did speak too soon. So, I mean, and think about look how thin that piece is. I mean, it's gonna be hard to. I'm really looking for a resin that's gonna be able to withstand that pressure at that size. And I just thought that it feels tough, but it ended up breaking. Um, um, Test 9, I might do the same. I'm gonna do a test here, the same size. Let's go and demold this. This is my original, one of my original molds for the joints I typically use. And so that's an older mold. That's a goodie, holy but goodie. And just like I say, loosen up both sides, go down both sides, make sure they're good, and then go and pop it out. And to do that, make sure you're not going to tear your silicone. See that? It's stretching the silicone. I don't want to tear it, obviously. And that's good. And there's actually some flashing stuck on the crease line or the parting line. That's fine for right now. And there we go. Here's this is always the piece that's the one that's the easiest to break, and it's holding up pretty good. So that gives me confidence that these pieces are going to hold up. Also gives me confidence that these thicker pieces, these thicker ball joints will also hold up. So they look good, they feel good, and it feels pretty solid. They all feel pretty solid, and they look good. They look good. Okay, so there's those. I will go ahead and open up the. Now look, this is what happened with the 1-to-1 by weight. This is some of those pieces. Again, they're very malleable. Okay, and this is the ToughCast 75 without much resin coloring. All right, here's the. This is task 9. I'll pull out some of those smaller ones, smaller joints. But this one, it's going to be hard to get loose on both sides. So what I'll do is get it loose where I can get loose. That makes sense. So it looks like it wants to get loose here too. So I'll get loose on the other side. And then try to get that loose. There we go. So I got one side to get loose. It's the middle side, middle. And then the other side in the middle. I was able to get loose pretty good. And there we go. Kind of cracked already. Right there. Not cracked, but cracked here. So that way I can free that up. Now I can go here. Hopefully get this loose from the side. There we go. Okay. The pins. Okay. There we go. Those look good. Won't know if they are good until we start trying to bend them. Unfortunately, I've been experiencing some letdowns on these, even with my task 9, which leads me to believe that maybe my task 9 that I have in hand is old and has lost its oomph, if you will, and so it's not staying the same strength as it was when I first got it and first started using it, which is an error on my part because I didn't heed the instructions saying use as soon as possible because the life of this resin isn't so well, it's not a very long shelf life, it seems like. Maybe. And I'm thinking maybe that's why I'm just having some issues with the pieces I pulled out earlier. So there's my, so when I said this is my original, this is the original that started this five gang box, if you will, this 5 gang, and these are all the same. And so I did 5 pours of this and then made a new cast for this. So there's 5 of the same. So that way I can make more pieces quicker. And now I'm gonna get rid of these real quick. Okay. And let's take a look. Let's take a look here. See how that is. So this kind of just flakes off. You know. Okay, this is one of those thin pieces. And I'm actually quite satisfied with this one. It does hold pretty well. This is that thin one that typically always breaks in. I might get this little extra resin. Might be getting at the edge. Hold on. Maybe why it's stayed together so good. Sorry for bothering you guys. Some camera up and down my shoulder here. All right, there we go. Yeah, I think it's pretty tough. Yeah, I think it. I mean, task 9 just they have the formula I think for what I need with these small parts. That isn't to say that ToughCast isn't going to work. I think it will for certain things. I just don't know if it's going to be able to stand as firm as the task 9. Or I'd have to do some task 4 evaluation too. But like task 9 and this thing doesn't. It looks like it's bending, but it's really not. So this thing has resilience, some hardness that's just not as prevalent in these. Is right there. That right there. This it's a small piece. You know what I mean? So you can't really judge for this example. But let's take a look. Maybe I have one of those in task 9 that I did recently. I don't know. Do not. Well, I know I don't have it there, but I have it in. I've done it before one time, a couple times. Actually. Let's see if I can pull one out. This thing. These are all disc. Hold on a second again. Okay. So these are all task 9. It's blue. And the reason why I wanted it in blue is because I think I'm going to do some Spider-Man. Is it Spider-Man? Yeah, let's see. I'm going to do custom Spider-Man, or no, it's not Spider-Man. It was for somebody else. But the red is for Spider-Man, so I'm going to have to do red again in task 9. But here's an example of. Pretty sure this is an example. Yeah, here we go. So see, here's this is task 9. This is an example of what it would look like with the and there's a little cap right there connected, drilled in, and just see. I mean, I didn't. Oh, there it goes. See, so even with task 9, these pieces I'm not too. I'm not for this cap up. So I want to waste the cap. So I'm gonna pull it back out of here. Nor do I want to waste the other part. There it is. I mean, so to be fair, task 9 doesn't even, one side is holding up good. The other side just, you can see where it broke. And you can see the type of break it was. It was a crack. It kind of flew out. That's just the rigidity of, I don't know if that's a word or not, but how rigid task 9 is compared to ToughCast, I think, as far as this size. Right here, when I broke that, it was slow and easy. You can tell there was more give, if you will, when it broke. Whereas the task 9 just kind of took off. So if I really push this, like, see how this bit is given, and then it kind of like tear before it actually cracks and breaks. I say the tearing happens with the ToughCast, which then causes the break, versus with the task 9. If I were to make a comparison, what happens is this thing just shatters. You know what I mean? The rigidity is there. So the difference between the two is, maybe it's an ABS. Maybe if we can mix task 9 with um, ToughCast, maybe that would give like that not brittleness, but that rigidity with that not tense out, but like the make that tearing strength. You know what I mean? So that would maybe kind of offset and make it better. I don't know, but either way, the small pieces, like with those small joints, just look how small those joints were. Those things are right there. Is where it happens. And that right there is just a thin piece. And so using those joints, you gotta be smart in the first place. How you place them, where you put them. Yeah, that's ToughCast. That's test 9 so far. I've been testing with the ball and the threading, and I've threaded it. This is ToughCast again. I've threaded this so tight, and the threading has not warped at all. The things held up pretty well. And so that just shows that maybe, as I've been kind of thinking, maybe what happens is the bigger the piece, right? So this is good. Right? This will hold whatever it is, right? And then, like I said, the warping. There's no warping on the threading, so that's a good thing. You don't want your thread to warp. Which it's gonna make you see that threading stayed. That's like that because of the cast. But that threading looks good. Thread in here also looks clean still. So the thicker the product, the stronger the strength of the ToughCast is. And I'm the same thing with cast iron. The thinner it is, the more malleable your mold will be, or your pieces will be initially. But with time, your pieces will settle down and set. But even when they don't, like if this one's still very malleable because of its thinness, and so that's not a good thing for these. So like there's comparison with task 9, same pieces, right? But look, this thing, I mean, it's not bending, it's not doing that same type of bend. This is and same thing with the like the caps. Okay, where's one of these caps? There we go. Okay, look, right, there we go. All right, hear that? And that's tight. It's gonna be tight. Now this one is a full M60, and it's not. It's not. It's because this piece too is also malleable. And this could have been an issue with the 1-to-1 by weight that I did initially when I first poured. These red pieces are the 1-to-1 by volume, so that might be the difference. I'm not sure. Let me just see, maybe we can test one of these real quick. So we're here for to test this to see and compare. All right, I'm not gonna take the I'm not going to take those. Okay, there we go. This is ToughCast. The red is ToughCast by, and measured by volume as the. So when I first got the ToughCast 75, I read that it was 1-to-1 by volume or by weight, and then so I just assumed when I first bought it initially when on camera that it'd be 1-to-1 by weight, but here it says 1-to-1 by volume, and I don't see anything else in 1-to-1 by weight, which is what I had read online, and I'll go ahead and post up like a screenshot of that same. It says by weight or by volume. So this red is so this clear stuff right here was by weight, and 1-to-1 by weight. This red is 1-to-1 by volume, and it feels a little bit stronger. Let me show you. Maybe here we go. So this is the 1-to-1 by volume, by weight. First pour, it is still very pliable to see. You know what I mean? Okay, and that's not good. That's gonna break. I don't know, maybe not. But if you twist, break. No, you see, there it is. And that's the 1-to-1 by weight. It's flexible, and it eventually tears, breaks, and that's not good. I'm not pleased with that. I can actually say that I already put this, I already drilled a hole, everything, put it together. Thought I'd be alright, but I'm not. It's not okay, and that's sad to me because this piece is the same. This is the same piece. It's gonna be in here. This is the same. This is that same piece. It's in here, and means eventually maybe I'm gonna have to replace this again, which is fine, I guess. But I didn't want to do that. I have to do that. Hopefully, I won't have to. Maybe ToughCast will prove me wrong, but we'll see. But that was by weight. This is by volume. It feels a lot more sturdier. It feels stronger. So that might be the difference. That might be the key if you will to do it by weight, not by or to do it by volume, not by weight. That's why it probably says that on the cans, on the actual buckets that they send. And that's the case. Maybe they're going to have to change up what they advertise on the internet or on the website and update that because that's what I was assuming was I was assuming by weight or by volume because a lot of the other stuff, whether it's Color Pro or Model Pro, it's all 1-to-1 by 1-to-1 by weight or volume. By weight or volume. For example, ToughCast 65. There you go. 1-to-1 by weight or volume. Um, flex it. Flex it 40, I think. 1-to-1 by weight or volume. Let's say flex it 80, which is discontinued by. But this one, it says it's very specific by volume. Yeah, both A and B say by volume. So there it is. Nothing much else to say other than say volume might be the key, but even weight is holding its own on certain pieces. So I'm not 100% sure. What I am certain of is the thicker the piece, or the thinner the piece, the more likely it will be that it's going to be flexible or more flexy. But the thicker the piece, the more likely you're going to get a piece like this, where it's more solid and sturdy and strong. In that case, it is definitely comparable to this, smooth on product, the Task 9, and I would even say the Task 4. But I think at the end of the day, I'm going to use this for something different, other than making these joints. As much as I would love to use it for joints, I just don't see it. I'm not seeing it withstanding some of these tests. I don't know. I might update. I might do an update. I might actually put these to test and then go from there. But I do know that these are time tested, and I'll have to test these more, see how they function, see how they actually withstand test time. That's ultimately the key for it. So that's ToughCast versus ToughCast 75 and Task 9 pros for ToughCast. And I was really hoping that it would be an hour set time. But it's actually more like 24 to 48 hours. It seems like with the size of pieces I'm dealing with. Same thing with Task 9 though. Task 9 also on their same bottles, they say 1 hour cure time. But I found that these usually also take at least 12 to 16 hours, and they benefit with even more time in the mold. So that's a wash for both of them. Even though this one probably sets faster than this one, it seems like. The benefits on both sides are that you can put color on, as you can see. I do like the fact that you can, what I'm thinking about using this for is for pieces that are going to be harder, like arms and legs, two figures, like these thigh pieces. What's great about this is you can actually tell, when you're heating them up, they start to get softer. And so that reminds me of the thighs that action figures use when you warm this up. It gets softer so that you can actually get this pin in here to hold the leg, right? To hold that flexing point. I think that would be a great place for a ToughCast 75 and even 65. That's what I use 65 for. So both of those work well for that. Another positive for ToughCast is their no smell, the ease of 1-to-1 ratio in mixing. Now with that is also the negative of the fact that the website says 1-to-1 weight or volume, and the actual product says 1-to-1 by volume. That can be confusing and needs to be clarified. But if that gets clarified and dealt with, I think the 1-to-1 aspect is phenomenal. That is also the same for Task 9. They are 1-to-1 by volume, or if you're weighing using weight, it's 100 part A or part B and 115 part B or part A. So 100 part B and 115 part A, which is can be confusing if you're using weight, but if you're using volume, then you should be setting it's just 1-to-1 by volume. But it's when you do the weight that you have to do the configuration and start doing like the multiplying and whatnot. So that would be an advantage for ToughCast if the 1-to-1 was by weight and by volume for sure. But it maybe seems like, I don't know, that it's by volume only because the actual product that I'm holding in hand says 1-to-1 by volume and it doesn't say anything about by weight. So the website says both. If it was 1-to-1 by weight or volume for sure, then this would be advantage ToughCast or SRC. But as it is, it's kind of because there is discrepancy and a little bit of confusion, maybe even. The one-to-one is equal, but then the more specific 100 part B to 150 part A goes to the task 9 because they're clear about what you need to do. And this one's not as clear right now. Hopefully we get that clear. The negatives, I think for both of them, obviously, the actual texture time, I really, really want both of them to cure within an hour. But both of them do not cure within an hour because of the size of the molds and the size of what I'm casting. That's just the nature of these pieces. They're going to be the thin pieces or small pieces, so it's going to take that much more time for the area or the volume of what they are to actually set. And that's what was explained to me by both, well, actually by Smooth on reps when I called them about it. And that's what it is, because of the size of it. It's just going to take longer. So that's a negative for both of them. The negative, obviously, for ToughCast right now is it's these flexing ones. I can't use them. I just can't trust them. You know, um, they I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do anything with them. I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to separate these two products as far as when I put it in my little containers for building. This is gonna just have to be the more the task 9, task 4 products. And there might have another one that's ToughCast because I don't want to mix them. I don't want to make I just don't want to do that. So that's a bummer for me because I was hoping that this would be one-to-one with task 9, but it just isn't. Especially that first pour, where I said, like I said, I used weight, and it seems to some pieces seem to just be more malleable even after being set for a couple of days. So that's a negative on ToughCast. But I'm actually really excited about ToughCast and ToughCast 75. I hope maybe they'll come up with a ToughCast 85 or maybe ToughCast 90. If they do, I think at that point then they will actually be able to compare to Task 9. Because when we look at Task 9 product, the let's see if I can show you here. Part B. No, it's not going to show me this one. I'll actually open up the bottom of it. But with ToughCast 9, I think the end result is a where is it? Come on, baby. The end result is a short 80 or 85D. Here we go. And that's what another knock against ToughCast and SRC is. Look, you have a product like resin. Look at these folks on the Smooth on side. I mean, they have all this information. So you see, so we're just talking about the mix ratio, 1 to 1, by volume. There's by weight. There's the viscosity. There's all this, gravity specific. Hot life. Cure time, obviously that cure time doesn't apply. But look at this. They have modulus. Tensile strength. Short hardness is 85. Okay, so 85D. Okay, if ToughCast is 85D, I think they'll be fine. They'll be good. It'll be comparable. But look, tensile strength, 7,800 psi. Modulus is 370,000 psi. Right? Elongation percentage, flexural strength, 11,850 psi. Modulus is 350,000 psi. Compressive strength, 11,000 psi. Your compressive modulus, 98,000 psi. So when you're looking at this information about task 9 and even task 4, any of the tasks or even any of the products from Smooth On, they have this information for you. With the information you get from, you don't get that same information from specialty about any of the products, like the tensile strength, the modulus, none of that stuff. And so that can be maybe a knock on ToughCast because they're making a comparison between task 9 and ToughCast 75. They're saying this is comparable to this. Well, if they're saying that, right, the numbers should be available to actually say, well, this is how it compares. So that way it's an actual comparison. This is what the test showed, and these are the numbers. Just like task 9 has all these numbers for X, Y, and Z. Here's the numbers for ToughCast 75. You know what I'm saying? I think that'd be fair. I think that'd be worthwhile. And I have yet to see the numbers other than what's available and what's in here. Go basically right there of what's available as far as the details, the specifications. But I like it. I may try it. Look at that. That's still working. That works nice. So I think it is a decent resin. I think it will work. I do not think it's a one-to-one comparison to Task 9. I think Task 9 definitely has the store hardness going for it. It's at 85D, whereas ToughCast is at 75D. But if the ToughCast comes out with ToughCast 85, then we might be able to do another comparison and see. I think that the main difference when they break, is that this one will tear break and this one will snap break. And I think that's the difference between it's a difference between the 75D and the 85D, where 85D is the stronger, the more firm, versus a 75D that's maybe more pliable, or it might be the difference between the actual product, the ToughCast product being what it is, where it wants to hold together better, more, versus this one, Task 9, which I'm not saying it doesn't want to hold together, but it just is more, for lack of a better word, not fragile, but more brittle in its set stage. That makes any sense. Maybe, I don't know. I'd have to look into the details about it. But because they have the numbers and the science, if you will, behind their product, I want to say that they have their ducks in the row as far as being able to prove, hey, well, we are stronger. Whereas this one right now, even in our tests, yes, it is strong. I was like, this proves, right? I think that's a good that torque on that going that far down, and then no issues in the threading shows it is strong. It just, if we get those numbers, that'd be great. Just kind of show, hey, this is where we're at versus, or even in comparison to this one. Those are my thoughts. This is what I'm hoping to do with them. I'm hoping to make more. I want this to work. So I'm gonna keep on trying. If and when I do an update video, if I get more information about ToughCast, whether it is supposed to be one-to-one, both volume and weight, or if it's supposed to be just one-to-one volume like the packaging says right here, I'll use it like such, as such. So that way, I'll be producing the parts I need or that I'll use it for. Anyway, that's it. That's the comparison. It has been extremely long. Hopefully, maybe I'll cut this down a little bit. But like if you found this helpful, and if it's been a worthwhile to compare the two, if you're on the fence for one or the other, if this helped you in deciding which one to actually go with, by all means, put a like on the button here on the video. If you've never done any casting before and found this helpful, hey, hopefully it's been fun. It's been fun to kind of go through all this and see how it pans out. It's casting is a fun thing to do, and I got into it because I started watching YouTube videos, and started saying, well, I can do some of this stuff myself, and I got into it, and here we are. But yeah, I definitely want to cast more parts like this, like these, and I want them to be strong, like ABS material. That's the goal, to have a material that's ABS like, so that way it will not break when, with that torque. It will. Ooh, look at that. Dun, dun, dun. This is task 9. So even task 9, like I said, I'm in a bad spot as far as finding the right material, unfortunately. And yeah, hope this video helps. Proof that not a product is quite where it needs to be for me and my purposes. But both of them do a decent enough job to at least be able to do some of what I want to, aka these types of joints. And I just have to use the best of what I'm able to cast, and go from there. This obviously is not going to be one of my best casted pieces. I hope this helps.